Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real, facts over fear. So, been looking over the rising number of hospitalizations in North Carolina. Decided to dig into the data to find out what's really going on, and I have, although I don't really know why, but at least I understand the statistics. I want to share that with you. You know, this is the kind of thing that I think WRAL should be more engaged in, but they don't seem to care about providing any kind of analysis. All they care about is making people afraid. And so it's not my intent to make you afraid. It's my intent to give you facts so that you can make real decisions based on real data. So what is going on in North Carolina with the number of hospitalized? That's bad writing there. Hospitalized COVID-19 cases. Well, let's look at some background. Looking at the bottom graph, so we can come down here to this graph. And by the way, this data is all directly from North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services website. So we can, this is the official data that's sent on to the CDC. So this is the best that we've got. Whether or not it's 100% accurate or not, I really can't say. This is a chart of admissions and discharges. The dark green is admissions, the lighter green is discharges, and you can see they pretty much mirror each other. Except when you get to these last few days here, about the last week, and you'll see that the discharges are way down. So that was my first clue. So I decided to do a chart. Admissions divided by discharges, so it's a ratio of how many admissions there are and against how many discharges there are. So this graph reflects what was in the bottom graph. The ratio of admissions to, and that's what I really want you to see, the ratio of admissions to discharges has spiked in the last couple of weeks. So this pink line indicates, and look how high the ratio of admissions to discharges is. So before, this past week or so, it never got much above 1.2, and now all of a sudden we're in the 1.5 territory. Now it has dropped the last couple of days. Of course, this data is ending on November 15th, and so we will see what happens this week. But we can see that really, if you look at the number of admissions, which is down, the number of new people going into the hospital is what I'm trying to say, is down at a fairly low level. About 500 a day. But look where the level of discharges is. It's way down. And so we compare those two metrics, and we get this graph. So analysis. What is my analysis of this thing, of this graph? What does it say? It says, evidently, the severity of individual COVID-19 cases is on the rise. And that can be, so people, in other words, if admissions have been steady and discharges have dropped, the only reasonable explanation is that the people who have COVID-19 in the hospital have to stay in the hospital longer because their cases are more severe, even though if we look at our data here, let me see, ICU is what I want to show you, adult ICU COVID-19 patients, 270 got up into almost about 350, and this is since June 3rd. Spiked again in July, about 370. Going down here, so we're just back up to 360. So ICU cases are constant, just like the number of deaths, which is so weird. I wish I could figure out what's going on with this virus, that it doesn't make people tremendous in general, doesn't make people tremendously sick, and doesn't kill them. But nevertheless, the data clearly shows that the severity of cases for those who aren't in ICU is going up, and they are having to stay in the hospital longer. So, why is this happening? Why is the severity of individual COVID-19 cases on the rise? Well, I can see three possible factors. One is people are meeting inside and therefore getting a much heavier viral load than in the warmer months. So viral load is the amount of virus that you're exposed to when you come in contact with an infected individual. The more virus you ingest through your respiratory system, the sicker you get. And so this is one thing I did not understand about viruses. There is a minimum amount of virus that you have to ingest through whatever means to get you sick. But it is possible to be exposed to a massive dose of virus, and it will get you that much sicker, that much quicker. And what happens is it's really about the number of virus. I think that's right, is the number of viri. I don't know. The actual number of COVID-19 viruses that enter your body has a lot to do with how sick you get. If you get a minimal dose, your immune system has time to ramp up. It has time to fight the disease. But if you get 100 times that dose, maybe your immune system doesn't have time to ramp up and fight that disease. I mean, your body can only respond so quickly to that kind of stimulus, and so it is a pretty consistently understood thing that the more virus you're exposed to, the sicker you get quicker, and the less likely you are to get over it. Second, masks are completely ineffective against being exposed to this virus. I really don't care what the latest CDC guidance is on the matter. A piece of cotton over your mouth and nose is not an N95 mask. If you are not wearing a form-fitted N95 mask, you are wasting your time if you think it's going to protect you against this virus. The virus particles are small enough to go through any kind of cotton fiber. N95 masks are a specially made piece of medical equipment that are certified to work. You go down to the local convenience store and buy a mask. It doesn't mean anything. It might make you feel better. It might make you feel protected, but it doesn't protect you because it's not a medically approved piece of equipment that is designed to protect you. And third, possibly a lot of people with risk factors have just said enough is enough. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't know a lot of people, but I know some people, they've literally been inside for 6 to 8 months, and they're like, I just don't care anymore. You know, living holed up inside a house or apartment like it's a prison cell is no way to live, and people get tired of it, and they just say, well, heck with it. I'm just going to take my chances. As usual, I have no solid explanation because the medical community has proven itself to be inept regarding this virus. In other words, there's nothing that the medical community is telling me that makes me have any confidence that anything they say is true or even effective or even marginally effective. I don't even know. You know, when Dr. Fauci has lied several times to the American public, do no harm, right? A bunch of harm's been done by giving people bad advice, and I still think they don't really. I don't understand how people who've worked with viruses their whole lifetimes don't understand how this one works. It's not like an alien invasion from a planet we've never heard from before, and yet somehow everybody is totally powerless to say, well, this is exactly what we need to do, and if you do it, everything will be okay. And they don't. It's like, oh, wear a mask. Well, okay. Whatever. It doesn't work, so thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing. I'm sorry to sound cynical, but if it's true, it's not cynicism. So outlook. If you can, limit yourself to extended times indoors with people you don't live with. I am not going to be the person to tell you what to do, nor am I going to give you a lecture about your decision. I am not the governor of North Carolina, and I do not engage in treating people, my fellow human beings who are adults, like they are 5-year-olds. You are an adult, and you have to do what you feel is best for you. That is the bottom line, and so I am not going to criticize anybody for doing anything. If you have risk factors, you know what you need to do. If you don't have risk factors, you know you need to be respectful of other people. But it's like it's up to you. It's up to you to take care of yourself and your wife or your husband, or you and if you have children, that's your responsibility. Beyond that, you don't. Take care of yourself. Take care of number one, and your number two, and your children. All right. Well, I was glad I was able to get into this. I was glad I was able to explain this. So, in other words, what I'm really saying is the spread of the virus in the general population is not skyrocketing, but the severity of the illness is going up substantially, and you need to be aware of that. And that's why this channel's here. Facts over fear. All right. Got any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do. And we will see you on the next fact-filled video.